I'm live, baby. Give it that. Live. Make sure people heading over to my YouTube, UFOs Around the World. I am live now, so get a few people in, then we'll start watching what I want to show you. Let me know if the mic's alright when you get into the YouTube. Let me just check my live is on. I am live. People heading over to my YouTube, UFOs Around the World. I am live now, so get a few people in, then we'll start watching what I want to show you. Let me know if the mic's alright when you get into the YouTube. Chat. Let me just check my... You know what I think? Do you honestly think they are here and ready to show themselves? 2027, the deadline, mate. Heading over to YouTube now because I'm going to be ending the TikTok live in a minute, and I'm going to be doing my YouTube live and going through these videos. So make sure you head on over here. Wait for people to come in. I can't see who's in here yet. Let's have a look. Sound, all good for sound. Yes, all good. Mic is good. Made it. Cheers, people. Thank you. Let me see if there's a poll up here as well. Where's that poll? Start poll. Get that there. Can you see a poll? Yeah. Answer that poll when you come in, please. Made it. People on TikTok coming over to YouTube because I need to end the live on here so I can concentrate on this one. I don't think they'd allow it on TikTok anyway, what I'm about to speak about. Nice, refreshing, yeah. Now let's go. Let's get into it.
Nimitz Battle Carrier Group. I guess that's one of the...
Is that audio okay? Can you hear the videos okay? Let me know in the comments, please. Welcome in Kim, welcome in Chris, welcome in Nick, welcome in Sophie, Mike, Doris. Can you hear the audio okay, people? Yeah? Yeah.
The questions people want to ask us about, Megan.
That's very true, Ross. You know, we try to let you go on vacation and you just cause trouble.
This is no vacation, I can assure you. I'm working my guts out here in Barcelona, making lots of good contacts, by the way, for very interesting future interviews for Reality Check.
Well, we're thankful for it, Ross, and I will get to the first question about your comments. This is coming in from Charles. A question for Mr. Coulthart. You recently mentioned the Tic Tac was a produced/manufactured.
So just while people are still joining, so he's answering some questions. So obviously he's done that video, and he always does like a Q&A now the next day or something after what he said. So this is just referring to the Tic Tac being Lockheed Martin and stuff like that. And some of these questions are really good that they get us asked. So here we are. So let's crack on.
By Lockheed Martin, but you never mentioned if it was under autonomous flight or piloted. P.S. Love your reporting. Thank you, Charles.
That's a good question, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know for sure. I have been told previously that when Tic Tacs, you see, one of the other things I want to clarify here as well is there are NHI Tic Tacs. A lot of people seem to be thinking that I'm suggesting that all Tic Tacs are Lockheed Martin. That's not the case at all. What I was told, and I'm reasonably sure that this is the case, is that the Tic Tac was being operated by Lockheed Martin. And it's conceivable that that was being operated neuromeditatively, psionically, by a human psionic, which is what I understand is the way that these retrieved non-human craft are being operated.
So that's quite interesting. A human psionic. So they're having to get human beings. This is what it's leading to me. So like, I know I'm staying on TikTok just for a few moments, and I'm going to cut off TikTok. So you need to get over to YouTube. This is where I think that's going on with the children. We know it's the children that they are. Is referring to here. It's not men and women. I think some of them. I think women are being abducted and trafficked as well, but it's primarily children. And it's from Indonesian countries. Now, there's a lot of countries around the world where you can't get the stats on the missing children. They're struggling to actually find an accurate figure, and that's the problem. We've got an accurate figure in the UK, sort of, and the US and other countries, and I'm going to go through that in a bit. But these other countries like Indonesia don't know where these children are going. So
it's not clear to me, though, whether this is a craft that was built by Lockheed Martin or whether it is Lockheed Martin testing the use of neuromeditative signalling, as our friends at Skywatcher call it, to operate one of these craft. I just can't answer that question specifically. All I can do is tell you what I've been told by my multiple sources, which is that the operation of the Tic Tac was being controlled on the day by Lockheed Martin. Now, I want to say here, let's be really clear about this, there is always the possibility that sources that talk to a journalist like me may be malign. They may indeed be running some kind of psyop. And of course, I've taken that into consideration in asking the question. The difficulty is I can't...
Thanks for hitting that goal, whoever did that. I appreciate that. I've just seen a comment here. 200 islands in Indonesia. Is that true? Is that true? 200. I'll have to Google that in a minute. I'll remind me of that.
I can't go into the detail. For
TikTokers, please head over to YouTube. I won't be able to play after videos on here because TikTok won't allow it.
Very obvious reasons about who these sources are and why I think so strongly that those sources are telling me the truth. And I can tell you there are a lot of people who are assuring me that I'm flat wrong. And that's fine. But let's have a discussion about this. And also, let's talk about what I think was actually another of the major points that I was trying to make in the course of that conversation I had with Bryce, which is that there is an obvious contradiction between what the White House has said, that these were FAA authorized drones operating the continental United States in November, December, January, and what the US Air Force has said, which is two senior generals, one former, one serving commander of Northcom NORAD, responsible for the defense of the United States Northern Aerospace, stated categorically on the record that they have no idea who is responsible for those drone craft that were hovering over the continent.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the people in charge of this are the people that are doing the operations, taking these children from these Indonesian countries and these other countries that they're connected more spiritually. I think they're not like we are in the UK, you know, rush hour and stuff like that. They're in nature. A lot of these countries around the world, they're at nature and stuff like that, and they're a bit more in tune with the surroundings. We're not. We're not really, are we? We're spoiled. We are spoiled. A lot of these countries where they're just at one with nature, they may have some spiritual connections, some abilities that we probably don't have because of the food we eat, drink, and stuff like that. And the medicines that all sorts of stuff can be inhibiting what we are potentially able to do. But these other countries probably don't have that, and they're able to. Their pineal may be open, shall I say?
Of the United States. That's an obvious logical contradiction. And if the president, think about this, if the president, it's actually a good point. That actually supports the possibility that I might in fact be right and that my sources are in fact telling me the truth. If the president is telling the American public they don't need to worry about these drones which we know are operating anomalously with anomalous characteristics, then what the hell is going on? It implies he's being briefed. Just by the way, just to add more smoke to the fire, Earlier on today, I had a message from a guy in New Jersey.
I'm not going to play all this, don't worry, but I'm just going to play a little bit for you to see this part.
Who has seen one of these drones land in a New Jersey backyard. And this is what he told me. I was beaming them one night.
Oh, this is insane. Check this out.
He was illegally pointing a laser beam at one of these drones, which you should not do. Naughty. Even if they are NHI or whatever they are. I was beaming them one night around midnight, and the one flew straight over my backyard, stopped slightly above and to my left, and seemed to sink down into the trees along the little street on the side of my house. The next thing I see is this rectangle-looking box-like thing floating just above the street, about the size of an old Ford station wagon. It was the most incredible, starkly lit thing I've ever seen. I've never seen colours so radiant, so intensely liquid-like in my life. Several shades of blues with oranges and yellows like intense neon lights. It scared the hell out of me, and I moved away from the window so it couldn't see me. I slowly poked my head around the window, and it followed every move I made. It knew I was watching it. I would pull back, and it came up the street. I would move into the window, and it moved back down the street. It was like we were synchronized, and I was completely freaked out to the point that I quickly ran into my kitchen and considered hiding under my sink, of all things.
There's just one thing I don't know if he's going to answer, actually. So these children are being used to fly these Tic Tacs. Why are people then saying we need people to use psionics to contact these things? I don't get. I'm concerned because for decades I've spoke, well, 2.5 decades I've spoke about the issues that I think is going on with the DUMBs, the underground bases and stuff like that, and the children and what's been going on, and nobody seems to give a shit. Nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to put 2 and 2 together and wonder what's going on there. Nobody seems to bother to go and look at the stats, and I'll show you the stats in a minute. Something's going on. I'm concerned. Is this a cover story? Are they thinking they're getting too close here? We need to put something out there. Let's say it's for psionic purposes. Let's say it's because it just sounds too ludicrous to me that these are being flown by psionics. It just sounds really insane to me.
I found myself in some sort of stupor, like I was being drugged, confused, and slowed down. So I went to my bedroom and got my .25 and just laid back in bed. I awoke the next morning still holding the pistol. Something really anomalous that has no visible means of propulsion is landing in the New Jersey, and your president is telling you he's not concerned about it. Yet 2 generals responsible for the defense of the United States aerospace are telling you they're concerned about it and they don't know what these objects are. Why is the president not concerned? And why are 2 US Air Force generals presumably not briefed into what the president is briefed into? Think about that. Thank you, Megan.
You're welcome, Ross, and thank you. We will go to the next question. This is from Chris French on X. Hi, Megan. A simple question for Ross to shed light on his statement about the Tic Tac. To be clear, even if Ross seems confident the Tic Tac is U.S. tech, does he think it's a...
Let's read some of the comments. Something isn't adding up. No, you're totally right. It's not been adding up for a long time. I agree. The President isn't concerned about the PDFs list either. Well, in fact, I'll skip to that part now. Let's see what Ross Coulthart says about the Epstein list. So it is here. Put chapters on. This will be linked in the description at the end of the live. If you've missed some of the live, it will be shared. It uploads immediately afterwards, so you'll be able to catch up with the live and stuff like that. All I ask is, just give it a like, comment,
Epstein
and
black book, and that he did die of suicide.
Any feedback, good or bad, helps.
I keep an open mind on the Epstein case. I knew Virginia Giuffre. I'm very sad that she passed away and took her own life. She was a broken individual, and she was broken because she was horribly abused. Her allegations are not fabrications, and it's terrible that a woman was hounded to her death because of horrible, malignant, ferocious people in the US establishment who didn't want their names revealed. I don't know if there was actually a list, and I suspect that when Pam Bondi made...
You are looking at the wrong person. Trump isn't the problem. Not even looking at Trump. I don't know what you're talking about. No one's even looking at Trump. No one's mentioned Trump. This is not about Trump.
That, I think, perhaps reckless statement that she had the list on her desk, I think it's possibly an accurate representation of what she was really talking about, to say that she was talking about having all of the files relating to the Epstein case on her desk, because we knew at the time that the FBI investigation was still ongoing. In that kind of a case, I'm always inclined to assume a screw-up before a conspiracy. That shouldn't let them off the hook, though, because even if there isn't a list of people that Jeffrey Epstein facilitated to have sex with little children, that should not stop the FBI from being forced to reveal what we do know exists, which are videos and other documents that were stolen, because they're not properly kept by the FBI. They were stolen illegally in breach of the search warrant and the way that the Department of Justice...
I think this list will come out, but it'll be in 4 years.
...exercises its authority. Those tapes, the video...
I have actually, if you want, got the actual list, the unredacted list. And when I say unredacted, it's got the names, the phone numbers, and addresses of every single person on that list. Can't tell you who sent it me. It was sent to me a few days ago. I looked at it, and I know it's the real one because on Twitter someone shared the redacted list, I think it was, and it was exactly the same as the one I've got, but the addresses and phone numbers were blurred out. The one I've got, it's not. And I shared it, and then I deleted it on X because I thought I'd better be careful with that.
Videos that were found in the Epstein house in New York ought properly to be disclosed. And, okay, it may very well be that they reveal child porn, in which case a notarized statement should be secured describing what they show, protecting the anonymity of the child, but making sure that the person portrayed in those videos is brought to justice. I honestly don't know why it's so bloody hard for somebody to do that. I do think it's possible that Pam Bondi...
Can you hear me over the audio, by the way? Can you just let me know, please? Like I said, it's all new to me, using this app and stuff. You can email me and I'll send you, but I'd prefer if you use like a Proton email or something like that, maybe, or something like that.
Bondi is telling the truth when she says there is no file list. I think it might have been, how does one say this politely? It might have been a rhetorical flourish by people in the Republican Party during the campaign.
Yeah, no, I know TikTok can, but I'm on YouTube. Please, if you come over to YouTube, it will help me out much, because I'm going to be live on YouTube over the next month, because I can't go live on TikTok through YouTube at the minute for at least 30 days. So, and I'm not going to go in live on TikTok. I'm just trying to get people over. And then hopefully in a month or something, I'll be able to stream to both platforms in this format and in landscape. Farther better than the last night. Yes, can I hear? But honestly, I'm not lying to you. On my children's lives, I have that list, and it's got the names, addresses, and the phone numbers. I was shocked, and I thought, is this real? And then I seen today, what's he called? Matthew? Was it Matthew? Matt something. Shared. I can't. You might be able to help me. He's quite prominent. He's got a million or two followers. Said, this is the list, and it had the list of the names, but it didn't have the addresses and numbers. Mine has.
Who were having a great time milking public outrage about the Epstein case. And I don't think they realised the implications of talking about a list of perpetrators when they knew they were going to be held to account in a new administration to actually reveal that list. And I think maybe they've been caught out in their own lie, or perhaps their own exaggeration. But whatever the truth of the story, they must be held to account, because it's just as bad to withhold the other evidence that I have no doubt exists, we know is on the public record already. There are videos, and that's the more shameful thing, that the videos haven't been released. And for that matter, I noticed today it was reported that the brother of Epstein claims that he was never allowed the 9/11 call. And there's all the other things that aren't explained, which is the missing minute. People have pointed out that there's a missing minute in the surveillance video of the Epstein cell. I don't think we should get distracted by the...
Right, that's enough of the Epstein list, so we're going to go on to the next video. So this is the one I want to play next, which is... Let's play this one next, actually.
One in the same. It's world takeover and the decimation of the population of this planet. Now, I'm going to tell you something a little bit different about the alien species. The bad news ones, there are 9 races of alien populations. To look at a human being as a bag of food. They're not cannibals. They don't eat the flesh and the bones and all that kind of stuff. They use the glandular secretions of animals and human beings as a mixture of the vitamins for their food. They get high off of our adrenal gland substances called adrenochrome. It's something like cocaine to them.
So, why do I tie what Jake Barber says with what Phil Schneider says? And other people have saying, and I'll show you now. So let's just play this clip here from Jake Barber.
Collection of equipment to not only monitor their experience to make sure they're safe and healthy and not getting hurt, but you're also correlating it to your other measure. It's a measuring device for us. That's what this whole crazy thing about taking a psionic asset, putting them in our work suite, which is like a Faraday cage, and getting them involved is just to add a 6th, 7th, 8th piece of equipment. So when this phenomenon shows up, does the random number generator in here move when it also shows up on IR over our radar? So it's not like we're going off the deep end. Our whole world is all about psionics and remote viewing. It's not.
It's literally correlating with an observable. You're getting on another, and multi-sensory corroboration is what you're looking for in any sort of scientific process.
And it works the other way. Sometimes the intent is to have the psionic assets summon the phenomenon, and the rest of the equipment is turned down, and then because we want to be able to isolate where we're having successes. So they ramp up, they activate, they summon, they invite it in, and then the rest of the equipment becomes measuring for their summoning effort. And so, yeah.
So it sounds like the U.S. government has used kids as psionic assets. And does that bother you at all?
That bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does bother me.
Do you have a model of what these crafts are and what's inside of them?
Well, interestingly enough, this particular craft, the 8-gon, is exactly what Michael Herrera reports to have seen in Indonesia.
It's the one time I've ever heard this brought up.
I'm going to share that clip of that video as well with Michael Herrera, of what he said. Again, it all ties up, people. Every single bit of it ties up. I'm trying to get you onto my wavelength here, and then you can come to a conclusion that I'm talking absolute bullshit. I don't mind. But I don't think you will come to that conclusion when I just show you a drip feed of these videos, because a lot of these things come a long way from just flying saucers and aliens on Mars. It's getting weird.
Yeah. That account, and it's matte black like you described. He calls it phantom black, and he says it has 8, like an octagonal shape.
Yeah. So I heard
the 2 TikToks. I'm live on YouTube, so if you want to jump over to YouTube, click the notification bell, please, so you get notified from the next video on Saturday, which is the big one. And this one now that we're going through all the things with the latest news. It's an interesting one. Come and join the chat. I want questions, people. Please ask me questions in this chat box here. I want to be answering some of your questions and that. And you must have questions, because some of this will be new to you and you'll be like, yeah, I'm starting to see this. If you're not seeing it, I'll keep going until you do see it.
Michael Herrera's story in Washington, D.C., there was in 2023, I believe, there was a whistleblower conference shortly after.
I'm not going to let him speak about Michael Herrera. I'm going to play that separately, but I want to get to witnesses, whistleblowers, where it gets to where the children part. Where is it?
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can
YouTube.
And still, like, there's nothing about this inherently that it's like, and I didn't want to tell anyone about this because I'm like, and there was a psionics team working that night. And so I don't know whether, you know, it's one of two things. Like, either there was something with a very powerful talent inside of that thing that was connecting its soul or spirit to me as I was flying, or one of the psionic assets got its consciousness trapped in that thing. And
why was he not asked where the children come from? Makes no sense. We get to that. They come from Indonesia mainly. This is where we're going to get to things. Just Indonesia
somehow was communicating through me.
And so what are psionic assets?
When we look at collecting data, one of the areas that we look to collect data is through a psionic asset, which is an individual who's trained in remote viewing, psychic abilities, telekinesis, that type of thing, which is basically through a number of different protocols can transition into a place where they are highly sensitive to their environment from the point of view of consciousness, through a consciousness field. And that is not a woo-woo topic. I know I'm just throwing it in, but it's so matter of fact to me that it's the same as saying night vision goggles. Like, it's there, we use it. And it's worked both on it's used both on the summoning side and the data collection side.
So you're saying humans summon these UAPs?
Humans. There are two types of summoning that can be done that we've proven works and we're still working with. There's machine-based summoning systems and there's man-based summoning systems. Machine-based summoning systems are...
I'm hoping it's this bit in a minute. If not, I'll just tell you what he says. But let's get to, hopefully it's the next bit. If not, then you'll see the connection that I say with Phil Schneider and why I'm concerned.
Without going into details, are signals and energy systems that can be turned on or activated that summon UAP activity, or that UAP are attracted to. And I say, again, remembering what UAP means, it's a very broad term. It's unidentified anomalous phenomenon. So unidentified anomalous shit shows up. That's a pretty broad category. Now, in order to be effective at serving as a PA, you could think of consciousness as a field. Don't think of it as this superficial woo-woo thing. Like, it's literally like the World Wide Web. It's like the internet.
If you want to join me, YouTube,
it's always
UFOs
there.
around the world,
We can't see it.
there.
It's full of information and exciting things, but point to it. I don't see it here.
Yep.
Right? So where is it? You have to be able to tap into it. You need something like a Wi-Fi signal to get there. So individuals that have this gift are people that have been trained and have the talent to serve as a Wi-Fi to tap into the consciousness field where everything in the universe seems to exist or have its presence. And once you can do that, now you're in an environment where, while we're having other multiple forms of sense data in place, if a UAP shows up, is it registering in the consciousness field that our PA asset is connected to through the Wi-Fi? And the Wi-Fi is this process of getting into mindful meditation. So two things are happening in that process or protocol of serving as a PA. Lowering intellect, increasing intuition, and then reintroducing intellect at a higher level as an observer, not as a driver. How do you do that? Well, you're either born with a gift or you spend 30 years as a Shaolin monk and you figure out how to do it the hard way. There are either easier ways, there are cheats, And some of the cheats that have been experimented with are things that have not fared well for those involved in the program, including children, and I'll talk about them. So how do we heighten intuition? Well, you do it through stress inoculation. You do it through triggering flight or fight or flight.
So let's just stop it there a sec. Let me type this in. Fight or flight. Meaning. So, the fight or flight response or stress response is triggered by the release of hormones either prompting us to stay and fight or run away. Explains during fight or flight, our body's working to keep us safe in what we perceive as dangerous situation. Let's go back to that a second. So, this is exactly the same thing that is said about the adrenochrome. They put them in fight or flight mode to get that. He's now saying they put them in fight or flight mode to get the psionic abilities. I told you about the tape I seen early 2000s, 99, 2000, between 99 to 2002 of the blood-curdling screams in these dumbs, and I tell you now that was a genuine video, genuine video. It's never seen the light of day again. I've never seen it again. Not been able to find it again. It was something, what age was I? I'd have been about 16, around 2002. I left school 16. I'd have been 15, 16, something like that. So I'd never seen anything like it in my life, and it was terrifying and it was genuine. I tell you that now. And this is probably what they was doing. They was scaring them to the point where it was either for the A or it was for the psionics. Or was it for both? Or are we being lied to? Is that a story that they put out there saying let's push the adrenochrome story when really we're just covering up the psionics? Or is it the opposite way around? Let's put the psionics out there now because they're getting too close to the truth, so they don't get to find out what we're actually doing with them. And then you've only got to look at the serious things that have been going on islands, people getting arrested, things that have been going on, lists that aren't being released, and you can only assume that it's bad things that have been happening to these children.
Biology systems in our body. Some of the most powerful things you can do is trigger that on. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, don't reinvent the wheel. The human mind and body is already something so spectacular we don't understand it. I don't know why it works, but if you can trigger.
Please, TikTokers, come on over to my YouTube because I'm not going to be able to talk about this on TikTok, am I? Come on. Give me an hand, people. All I ask is you join and click the notification bell for Saturday. We need that clicking.
Trigger, flight, or fight. All these things get activated.
What do you think in the comments there, YouTubers?
Does. So stress inoculation is one. You got to hijack the amygdala and boom, you put someone there. You need to do that to heighten intuition.
My YouTube is UFOs Around the World. It's UFOs Around the World on every single platform that I'm on. You put that on any social media, you'll find me. UFOs Around the World, either all one word or you can break it up and it'll still find me. I'm on about nearly, I want to hit 5K today if possible. I'm nearly at 5,000 followers.
While subduing intellect. How do you do that? You subdue the intellect by disassociation. So there are chemical ways to induce disassociation. There are more proactive ways that you could do yourself, like through meditation.
So I'm going to stop this one now. I'm going to play the Michael Herrera story. Let's go into Michael Herrera, see what he had to say. This is, again, connected to it. You got to connect the dots. I came across the children and stuff like that, like I said, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. You sit on it. It's fanciful. It's like fantastic stories that you think, that's too ludicrous. That can't be true. And then you sit on it, and later down the line, people come out with it with different things, and then you start to bring that piece of the puzzle back, and you start to put it together again. And all these people are helping me put this together and put in a way where other people don't seem to be putting it together.
No, not gunfire or firefight or anything like that. But the way that these guys moved was so fluid, it was so still, it was very, very, very smooth. And it kind of indicated to me, after thinking about it for several years, is that these guys have done it for a while because of how smooth this operation was. So when we were in a tactical column going towards the center of this thing, they actually came from the flanks, but it was more of a diagonal,
Welcome,
like
Cassandra.
corner of the room, so to speak, right? For them, in a tactical advantage, they have interlocking fields of fire on every single person, and they had a team of 8, right? And the gear that they had was black OTV vests. They had black camouflage utilities.
So what you're saying is there would have been no They were professionals.
Yes,
there would have been
yes.
no Mexican standoff where if they fired, they're shooting into their other squad. They had perfect angles.
Yes, they did.
To where both sides could engage you.
Yes.
All the full interviews
Team
will be in
of
the
four, team of four,
description
so it was like a
after I
fire team
finish the
element.
live,
Without
so you'll be
worrying
able to
about
go
a
and deep
blue
dive
on
into your own
blue
research. Come back at me.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, with that being said, because as they approached us, you hear safeties flip off. Now, your attention to detail, when you're seeing this kind of stuff, your senses are very heightened, so you can pick up. I know you being a combat veteran, you know all about that. Your heightened sense of awareness is going through astronomical changes. To
hypervigilant.
Yes. So you can hear stuff a lot clearer. And that's when you kind of picked up the hum that this object was doing along with these guys flipping their safeties off, especially M4s. You know, it's very distinct sound. Anybody in this room who's held M4s and has shot them, M16s, things like that, it's very distinct sound to
Welcome over,
off.
Please click the notification.
So we kind of knew when they started yelling at us.
So you get notified. It's the little bell button.
You're not supposed to fucking be here. What the fuck are you guys doing here? Who the fuck are you with? You know, so they knew they were using the kind of lingo that we were using too, especially in the military. So it made me think that at some point these guys actually were uniformed military at one point.
Any accents?
Not accents. It's just like American dialects, how you and I are talking. Very, at one point.
So for people that might not have seen this before, just give a quick rundown so you know a bit just the story. So they come across this black op military, all black uniform, no badges, no nothing. They don't know who they are, but they mean business. They threaten this guy and his troops, saying, "Listen, people go missing very easily around here." And he observed the craft going south over the west coast, I think, of the United States, like a UFO. Seen vehicles going onto it. This is what he's going to describe now, so we're going to get into that.
So they were going to smoke us. They could throw us out of a helicopter. It's very easy to get lost in the jungle out here. You know, they kept saying stuff like that. So after they...
Oh, the jungle. So I think this is the Indonesian story.
Enveloped us. They all pretty much got online. They told us to put our weapons, so we all got online as well. And we had our hands up. We had our weapons slung. And... they're having two guys watch while there's a guy basically taking our magazines out of our vest. And they're throwing them on the deck and they're kicking them away so we don't have time to react. They also, at the same time, the first thing they did was obviously take our weapon and clear it. But they took the magazine out and they actually held it in a way to where they could pull a charging handle and collect the round and have it not hit the deck. So the way that these guys operated was very smooth. It's very calculated, very precise. You could tell they've done this a lot, or they've rehearsed it a lot. You know, especially combat operations, you're doing terrain model rehearsals, you're doing rehearsals whether you're clearing rooms, trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. These guys kind of did the same thing, I'm assuming, because of how smooth it was. And because you know as well as I do, you have new guys that join a unit and they're not that fresh. You know, they're very choppy because they have the basic understanding of either how to stack up and do room clearing. And the guys that have done it and been through combat deployments and all that, they're very kind of methodical, very smooth because they know what...
Just jump in. Is there anybody in the chat that is like, this is new to them, what I'm showing them, but not looked at this side of things before and are a bit like... It can be upsetting, I suppose, if you're new to this side of it. This is the part of the subject that upsets me.
What to expect. These new guys, it's not the same thing. You could tell these guys were seasoned. So as they did that, they actually, each Marine had two guys on them, plus one that was taking the stuff off of them. They actually knew where our military IDs were because in Marine Corps order, you have to have them in your left breast pocket.
So there were 15 of these guys, 3 on each Marine.
No. So they had other guys right here, and they had 3 that were just going through each Marine.
Okay.
While other people were holding each Marine at gunpoint. And they're not like super close to us range-wise with, because if you get a muzzle close, I mean, it's easy to grab it and, kind of fend off, especially with a rifle. But these guys were off at a standoff distance that even if you try to move, they could smoke you.
One search team of 3 guys.
Yes.
And then the rest of the squad was aimed in on you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base
TikTokers
44,
heading over to YouTube.
a complete AI creation
when that
platform
goes, the live goes.
made for any...
So, and again, they're not anywhere where they could actually, there was people behind us because obviously if they had to engage, they're going to hit one of their own guys probably. So it was more like they were kind of moving the same way through all of us, all 6 of us, taking our stuff, taking pictures of our military IDs, So they had like these devices that kind of look like a very thin, it looked like a smartphone modern day right now, because in 2009 it wasn't the case. I think the most high-tech thing they had at that time were maybe Blackberries, but they're bulky at that point with the ball, and then they had their flip phone razors and things like that. But these look like something you'd see today. And they were taking pictures of military IDs, and they had some other device that was like reminded me of a BAT system. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Describe it.
It's like a biometrics tracking system. So what it does is when you come across with an insurgent, you can take pictures of their face, their retinas, fingerprints.
Yeah.
Something like that, but they were trying to scan our IDs with this thing, and it wasn't working. So they're kind of getting frustrated with it. So as this is going on,
did they collect biometrics?
Live's been restricted on TikTok.
No. Okay.
No. Which I mean, they took pictures of us.
Come on, guys, come on over to YouTube.
Enough, and then they took our IDs, you know, because some people I talked to that are in the special operations community with that, they said, yeah, we have the ability to scan IDs, and it tells us everything about you. Military IDs, driver license, things like that. So it's very high-speed stuff. I mean, and considering this was in 2009 compared to now.
Right, I'm gonna have to end the live on YouTube, TikTok, because it's restricted, and I'm just not willing to get myself striked or anything like that. So if you want to watch the rest of it, please head over to YouTube. UFOs around the world. I am live right now. It's just us guys, the YouTubers. Let's do it.
I mean, of course, they had this thing that they were using to load up stuff. It's very advanced physics, you know, something hovering off the ground, not making any sound, but an audible hum, like a guitar amp or something that's like a transformer.
So it wasn't like, it didn't sound like a jet.
No.
It didn't sound like a helicopter.
Hell no.
There was no engine noise.
Nope.
Just a hum.
Just an audible hum. It's very creepy to see because it's not normal.
Was it like a bassy hum?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Like a guitar. Like if you were to unplug it, I mean, it wasn't the same pitch, but it was like the same kind of sound, same kind of noise that it emitted. And so as they're searching us, we're watching this thing happen. And that's when we started seeing trucks come from our left and go onto this platform. And they were up armored 350s. I know exactly what 350s are. They were kind of beefier trucks. They were matte black. When they were coming at us, and they go left. And I was glancing between what was going on in front of us with these guys, and then all of a sudden glancing over to what was going on behind them. And that's when I started seeing the key details of this thing. Like it had like a scale pattern on it, kind of like an octagonal, because the craft itself was like an octagonal shape where you could see points. Had a pyramid structure on top that was black, and you can see the shadowing of it as it rotated. But it was rotating very slow. And then it had like these vents on every single corner on the middle part of these the panels anyway. There was like a Vanta black. It was like a dark black that would like absorb light. Very weird.
What do you mean by that? A dark black that would absorb light?
So if you ever familiar with the BMW, they painted Vanta black. It was like a very super dark black. It's not like a reflective material at all.
The matte black?
Yeah, but very, 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 even darker than matte black.
Okay.
Like you could shine a light at it and it won't even illuminate.
Like the Batmobile?
Kind of. Okay. Something like that. But even, it was like very dark. The only way I can describe it was like that Vanta black.
Okay.
And so
when you mean absorb light, you're saying if I shine a laser on it, you might not even see the laser. Correct. Or it would be very dull.
Correct.
Okay.
Something like that. So we're watching these vehicles, right? These trucks. Now the thing I would say on the front of them, because you know Humvees, the military has, they have the IR lights on the front.
This is an interesting part. Listen to this. So he's describing. So these obviously do not want to be recognised. These are probably elite. These probably get hand-picked, cherry-picked from, you know, when you're in the military. They might think he might be a good person to have on this, you know, special access program. Get him on here. These people probably went through the same type of training. Or did he have a total different training thing and they get them from somewhere else? Makes you wonder. Did he take these children, the ones that don't have psionics? Did he train them up to be? They had them from birth, so they don't know anything else. They just think this is their life. All sorts of questions. This opens up. It opens up a lot of questions.
They're the headlights that you can drive at nighttime with your knots. So they had the same thing because they had the same kind of slits that had the IR lights. But they had weapon cases in the back of each truck bed. And, you know, you could store like a couple hundred weapons, maybe 100 weapons, maybe a platoon, a company-size element. And it was the same Pelican casings that we would use to store stuff when they were transloading, you know. So very big cases on 2 of them in each truck bed. And then they had a shipping container thing. I mean, it looked like a shipping container, but smaller and half the size. And the thing that was different about this is I had a cylinder on the front of it that was towards the truck. It was like parallel to the ground, just a cylinder right on the top of this thing. And for years I thought, okay, you know, like there's got to be oxygen supply or like a vacuum sealing thing that you would, you know, because obviously I'm thinking it's drugs. I was like, okay, so this is a very advanced way to do that. Just years of thinking of this.
Listen to this.
And come to find out, when I gave my speech in D.C. on that Saturday for the Disclosure Project with Dr. Greer, he's got a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, by the way. And this gentleman, I'm not going to give any detail. I know a little bit about him, but he works in some of these projects at some very controversial facilities. He's aware of what was going on. After I gave my presentation of this, he confirmed, he says, no, he's like, I don't want to leave Michael hanging out there, but I was not expecting to come and talk to you about this. And he went, explained.
Has the stream stopped? Is the stream still there? Is the stream back? Is the stream back, everyone? Hello? Hello? No, I'm here. Hello? Hello, I'm here. Hello, people, are we back? Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I ain't seeing out right. So I got a notification saying, due to a copyright match, your stream was interrupted. Streams are interrupted when copyrighted content is detected. After copyrighted material is no longer being streamed, streams are automatically re-enabled. It's been re-enabled. So it must be the Michael Herrera part. So we won't play that part, so I'll click off that part. Oh. So we're going to go through the missing children statistics. So here we go. In Australia, an estimated 20,000 children are reported missing every year. Canada, 45,500. Germany, 100,000. India, 96,000. Jamaica, 1,984. Russia, 45,000. Spain, 20,000. United Kingdom, I'm shocked at this one, 112,000 in the UK. United States, an estimated 406, that's nearly 500,000 people in the United States. Now you add this up, and you add the other countries up that aren't on this list, it's in the millions every single year, and I've been saying this to people, and they're like, it's impossible. It's not impossible. And it says here, this, however, is only a snapshot of the problem. In many countries, statistics on missing children are not even available, and unfortunately, even available statistics may be inaccurate due to underreporting, under-recognition. So these numbers could be most likely more. That's probably 5, 6, it could be 1 million. We don't know. We got to think of this then, right? The United States, 460 children, right? We only found out that 95% of the children have not been found in the United States a month and a half or 2 months ago when the administration team, Trump's administration team, tried to look into them. Where are the children, folks? The lack of numbers and the discrepancy of the numbers that do exist is one of the key reasons why ICMEC developed and advocates the model missing children framework. Now here's one for you as well, Indonesian missing children. Indonesia missing children raise trafficking concerns. Recent cases of missing children in Indonesia have raised concerns about human trafficking and a lack of law enforcement resources to combat it, say child welfare activists. At least 182 children aged 0 to 12, that is important, because they say from the age of 0 to 7 is an important age for the brain development. If you can catch them before the age of 7, you can sort of get into the child's head, because their brain develops differently or something like that. This supposedly. They're most like, you have these children that see ghosts at a young age, you know, they see the granddads and stuff like that, and they have all these weird things. Like, even myself, when I was a child, I used to see things, like, you're more susceptible to seeing things around you. Maybe spiritual things, I don't know. They're blah, 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 blah. These are the only cases that are reported to us, so there are likely more cases out there, but even one child missing is a tragedy. He said 39 of the missing children were babies stolen from maternity clinics. Siriate, or whatever it's called there, said he suspected that a human trafficking network could be seeking to use the children for illegal adoption, commercial sexual exploitation, drug trafficking, and domestic and international child labour. Such crimes involve people who are close to the children. Cases that happened in maternity clinics, employees are usually involved. but the police usually treat such cases as ordinary crimes and are not serious about tackling the larger trafficking. I'm telling you people, it's a shock, it's a joke. Bible says children suffer. I'm a former foster kid, this is the most important, yeah. Me was in the GATE program allegedly, from what I remember. Wow, was you? We got this, man, we have. I don't know how many people are in the chat now after it went off. Maybe yes, you're back on. Yeah, I'm back on. So we've just been going through some stats there. So if anybody's like just missed a bit there, I don't know if how many's in the live or anything like that or watching. Let me have a look. Concurrent viewers there. So we was looking at these stats. So look at these two here. The United Kingdom, our country, in the United States. And these are the ones that have just been like the stats that have been given. It's possibly most likely over 1 million between those two countries, not that number. And then you've got these countries, and that's only, how many countries is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's only 9 countries. And what's the total of that? It's got to be what 450, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about 1 million. It's about 1 million there. So you think what's going to be going on? Well, probably just less than 1 million. Just think all the countries involved. Millions and millions and millions. It's sickening, it's shocking. I can't believe not a lot of people are speaking about it. And when you do speak about it, they try and get rid of you. They try and deplatform you and stuff like that. And then we'll talk about the Indonesia stuff here. Now let's have a look at this adrenochrome one here. There's an adrenochrome video I want to play here.
There's a theory spreading like wildfire online. A theory so shocking, so bizarre, that it sounds like something straight out of a horror movie. It claims that a secret group of elites, powerful politicians, Hollywood celebrities, and billionaires are running a massive child trafficking network. But here's where it gets even darker. According to believers, these elites are not just kidnapping children. They're draining their blood to extract a chemical called adrenochrome, a substance they allegedly use to stay young forever. This theory, known as the adrenochrome conspiracy, has been linked to movements like QAnon and Pizzagate. It's been pushed by some high-profile figures, including people connected to the recent hit movie The Sound of Freedom. But where did this theory come from? And more importantly, is there any truth to it? To understand Jim Caviezel.
Do you know why people won't touch this? Because they're content creators, they say. I'm a content creator. And they monetize it, like, right? And they want this to be their career. So they're too shit scared. So they're about the money before the truth. And that's where I'm going to be like, step aside, let daddy
is not going away anytime soon.
I don't know if the Psionics, maybe this can tell the story of Michael Herrera here instead of the other video.
Create a voiceover using your own voice.
Does it tell you in the videos if they're copyrighted?
Customize
or you can't use them as fair use?
Up, they activate, they summon, they invite it in, and then the rest of the equipment becomes measuring for their summoning effort. And so, yeah.
So it sounds like the U.S. government has used
I think
kids
he's a bit of a good shout out for Jesse Michaels. Anyway, he's like one of my favourite YouTubers.
And
Jesse, so
does that bother you at all?
Yeah, that bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does bother me.
Do you have a model of what these crafts are and what's inside of them?
Well, interestingly enough, this particular craft, the 8-gon, is exactly what Michael Herrera reports to have seen.
That's
Hi, Jason. Are you from TikTok or are you from
I've
YouTube?
ever heard this brought up, that account. And it's matte black, like you described. He calls it phantom black, and he says it has 8, like an octagonal shape.
Yeah, so I heard Michael Herrera's story in Washington, D.C. There was in 2023, I believe, there was a whistleblower conference shortly after the Whistleblower Protection Act got activated, and then there was this at the National Press Club hosted by Stephen Greer. There were several whistleblowers that had...
Oh, cool. Like, usually, I think most of mine have come from like YouTube or TikTok. Some are from YouTube, obviously, but yeah. Cheers for joining. Yeah, what did you type in to see it, or did it just show up in your recommendations? Because obviously, I'm quite a newish channel, so you've missed a bit of it, but the video will be up after this, so you can catch up with it. It's an interesting video for sure. I actually got bin bagged on the live for about a couple of minutes. I had to take something off for me to get the live to come back on, so you might want to check that bit out.
Decided to come forward in that environment and share their stories. So we were actually sent there on behalf of our employer to look for whistleblowers that we were trying to basically report to the FBI and get arrested, because at that time I was in this weird place between becoming a whistleblower or rounding up the
Make sure you hit the notification bar, Jason, because we're going to be live on Saturday for the MUFON live presentation where they show UFO material.
A whistleblower. And so
you are at this press event red teaming, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are trying to maybe gather intel on people who might become a liability for the program.
Yeah.
And you hear
Welcome
Michael
over.
Herrera
Make sure
give
to
his
follow.
testimony.
Yeah, and I wasn't
subscribe,
prepared for
sorry,
that.
and make sure to click the notification for Saturday.
I'm sorry, because you had already seen the Aegon.
Yes.
And then he talked about what you had experienced firsthand.
Yes.
And then
he's getting up there, and everyone's like, "This guy's full of shit."
Well, his was the craziest testimony from that. And so basically, this guy is saying, in 2009, he's deployed with his Marine.
Yeah, he was told to basically go against Michael Herrera.
Unit to the Philippines. Then a small part of that Marine unit, like 8 or 9 people, get actually moved off to Indonesia. Is this right?
Yes.
And there's a 7 Richter scale earthquake that had just occurred in the area, so it's a disaster zone.
This is good. We're going to want to go over this whole thing. Keep going.
And he sees this 8-gon, octagon-shaped craft, matte black. He describes it as like blacker than black, and it's hovering above the treetops. And his unit starts to close in because he's like, "What is this thing?"
Yeah.
And there's a humming sound around it, so not a traditional engine.
Yeah.
And as they're sort of moving towards it, what he describes as this elite, possibly Department of Energy paramilitary unit with technical gear out the wazoo comes and apprehends he and his team.
Yeah.
And they have bioscanners and they have all sorts of technical gear. They're threatening this team of Marines, and they're saying it's easy to get lost in the jungle, right?
Yeah.
They were actually 2 of the guys. We're actually talking about either, hey, should we smoke these guys right now? You know, that's what they kept saying. It was kind of feeding more into the fear.
I am 2 away from 5,000 subscribers.
I know they had American gear, they had American sidearms as well. If these guys have actually taken an oath like we have,
subscribers?
And why they're going against people like us and even willing to kill servicemen who just even stumbled onto this, it just blows my mind, and it's very sick.
And so Michael Herrera comes back to the U.S.
That's
He's
good. That means I've had about 30
He actually
subscribers
does
from this
a little
live.
bit
That's
of
pretty
press
good.
around this because he's like, this is ridiculous that this is being hid to the American public. And then
I'm looking for some moderators as well, so please, as long as you keep interacting over my live and stuff like that, and I think that you're a normal person, I'll add you to the moderators. And people that are interested in the topic, people that like to ask good questions, yeah, those are the people.
somebody back channels to him from the program and says, actually, the reason that elite squad was there and they were there next to that craft is because they were transferring psionic assets for the program.
Yeah.
And so this was a human trafficking operation where they were taking people, putting them in pods, loading them onto these craft, and then that craft was taking them back to the U.S. for use.
We back channeled it. That was us. We back channeled that.
That was you.
That was me.
Oh my God.
So when that happened, we were able to corroborate at least 3 key things. One, that those type of paramilitary units do exist because guys from our group get recruited and offered jobs to go exercise our skills elsewhere outside the U.S. I have never done it. I've never been part of those teams. The other thing is the description of the craft is exactly what I had seen before and my team had seen before, except...
I don't know if it was Jake that threatened Herrera. It could have been. They was all black suited up and they were identifiable. I don't think they might have had black masks on or something like that.
He claimed this one was like 300 feet in diameter. Never seen one that big. The other thing were the containers. He described the containers at the time as being used for transporting drugs. He was just speculating. He wasn't lying, but he assumed that they were there, must have been transporting drugs, because he saw these units on the roofs. Well, those units were, those units that they used are consistent with the workstations we use when we're out on the range. They're mini split HVAC systems that are used up there, because
it will be shared after the live. I am one away from 5,000 subscribers. 4999. Who's going to be that 5,000 subscriber? What was going to say then? You need to check out after this, if you've got time, the two videos that I did. One is the rare footage of Bob Lazar speaking about alien bodies, and the other one is about the 10 nukes that was disabled at Maelstrom. Check those videos out after this live.
As I explained, that's where we have our data observation team in those, and most of the time those are the Faraday cages for the psionic assets. We also know that
So I'll read your comments. I feel like Jake knows who interacted with Herrera's group, or else he wouldn't have befriended him at Gray's event. Yeah. Well, he must have known who he is, because he was told to basically, he's a sort of deterrent. Stay him away. Well, Wild, I ain't subbed. Well, Wild, I ain't subbed. You ain't subbed? 5,002. You've just become my 5,000 subscriber, men said. How mad's that? I just subbed. Oh, nice one. Thank you. Over 5,000. That's insane. Fantastic. I'm buzzing.
There are operations OCONUS outside the continental United States where prospecting for
250,000 on TikTok, but I'm buzzing for 5,000 on YouTube, because it's hard. YouTube's hard, man.
Is I hear in those programs that there's something valuable about the life experience in third world countries, in that it seems as though people that live a simpler life and are outdoors more and have less contaminants in their food and their drugs and in their culture seem to be a little bit better at disassociating and heightening their intuition. And they come willingly because of the economic imbalance between...
Yo, Cheese, I saw your orb takedown video. Let me pause that. Let me go through some of the... Dude, X and YouTube is a hard breakthrough. Yeah, X is just full of weird people anyway that just like to cause a lot of shit. For people that are new to the channel, we have interviewed Richard Doty, Jason Sands, Lenville Logan, John Stewart. Those lives are on my channel under interviews. Just click on that. There's about 7 hours worth of interviews there. Richard Doty interview is over 3 hours long. You need to check that one out. It's very good. Talks about deathbed confession, a cavern opening up in Antarctica, all sorts of stuff. The amount of times I said, "Are you telling us the truth? You're a liar, basically. You're a disinformation agent." I might have been a bit rude, but oh well.
Where they come from. So what I really don't like about how that came out, and when Sean Ryan was there at the time with us in DC when this happened, and we talked about this, shortly after that is when Herrera went on his show, and the thing took a kind of a dark turn, because the term human trafficking was slapped on this thing, and when you hear that, you think of slavery and sex trafficking and all these things. And it's my understanding that's not at all what goes on in these operations. It's no different than someone...
Okay then, Jacob, right? And I don't know why Jesse Michaels didn't ask this. My question would have been there, right, okay, he did say these children are fed and watered, they're looked after. Well, we'd have assumed that anyway, that you look after children, right? But where are they? There are thousands and thousands, millions that have gone over the decades. Not all of them can be psionic. Good at psionics. Where are they? These children won't be children anymore, they'll be adults. You're telling me that they're all just still there doing psionics? No, they're probably being used for all sorts of other purposes. This is why I don't buy it just being for psionic purposes. I think there's all sorts. There could be DNA tampering, human hybrids, putting them in special access programs, maybe military forces. Maybe he was part of it. Maybe, we don't know. Some of these people in the gate programs and things that we don't know. They're taken from birth. These people only know the life that they're brought up in. So if these boys are no good at psionic abilities, they'll put them in the army, and that's all they'll know. You work for us now, and they won't know anything different. They'll be brainwashed. Like I said, it opens up so many questions that you need to ask. It's a rabbit hole that I don't think people like to go down, because I want it exposing. I want this exposing to the world.
Setting up any other type of business, and the people come willingly. The people that work in these programs, it's a great job. It's fun.
Exactly.
Some of them have known their whole life that they have this intuition or this special talent, and they're socially awkward or have other pathologies, social pathologies, that they're dealing with too, that somehow seems like it plays into this. So it's like, not all the people that are talented in this way are normal in every other way. It's like God created some balance. So when they can come in and get involved in this program and have food and shelter and be treated with respect and make money, like if you went down there on your high horse representing the United States and morality and went in and tried to liberate these people, they'd be like, get out of here. We don't want to be liberated. This is our job.
Can I play devil's advocate for 1 second? I think in the Michael Herrera testimony, he thought that whatever organization this paramilitary group was from was taking advantage of the fact that Indonesia was this disaster zone.
Right.
And some of these people could go missing easily.
Yes.
And so that, to me, sounds
that's
a little
one
more...
theory, or the hurricane.
And that's that thing that I read before. Indonesia, the flood. The children went missing, they haven't been found again, and these parents are frantic looking for these children. They're taken from war-torn countries. They take them from disaster countries. They've been doing it for decades. The evidence is there. The stats are there. The thing is, the stats we see are just, as big as they are, they're still minuscule to the actual amount.
The natural disaster was actually threatening a workspace for this operation, and they needed to get the hell out of Dodge.
Got it.
I have no firsthand.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can you hear me okay over the video, by the way? Just let me know, please.
Nor direct contact with anyone involved with it. I know of that type of operation. I know of that craft. I know of those containers. And I know of operations that sounded like. And so the whole point of all this, and let me put a big giant red bow on it for you, is that this was one, I saw a good Marine.
So someone said they might breed with other people that have the psionic abilities. Yeah, I fully agree. I think that's what they do.
I think now with a
rhesus negative people, there's a connection to it as well.
In Washington D.C., when he's cut out to be carrying a saw through the jungle, and now he's doing his best, and he's an honest, good guy, and I was going to let him hang. So I sidebarred Greer and a bunch of other people and said, we need to talk about this. I thanked Michael. And I have been loyal to him throughout the process and trying to help him as much as I can get support for this, while also trying to stay low key to figure out where the problems and landmines.
Right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the live. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to have like a 10-15 minute break, and I might come back live, but on a different topic. We can just go through some UFO footage, stuff like that. But I think this is enough. We've done an hour and 10 minutes. I got sort of the live ended. Well, it didn't end. It just got paused for 2 minutes while I'd done like some copyright thing, which I'll have a look at when I've finished this live to see what I've done wrong. And we'll come back and look at some of the other latest news stuff if you want. But as always, don't forget Saturday we've got a live MUFON. We have the apparently UFO material which is going to be shown. So in fact, let me show you the trailer for it before we go. Hello, that's MUFON. This is it.
Hi everybody, my name is Bob Spearing. I am MUFON's Director of International Investigations. I'd like to invite you to join us July 19th, a Saturday night, in Cincinnati, Ohio at our MUFON Symposium for a very special event, Unknown Materials 2.0. In 2023, MUFON received a mysterious Russian sample, possibly craft debris. Extensive testing was done on it at the time, but over the course of this past year, MUFON has done more extensive testing of the material, and what we've discovered is quite astonishing. We will also have on hand a witness who actually saw debris fall from a UFO, and this material has been tested by the NSA, has been in the hands of Gary Nolan, Lou Elizondo, and others, and we have that witness and that material. So if you really want to see something interesting and want to be part of the disclosure movement, I thoroughly hope that you can join us. For tickets, go to MUFONsymposium.com, and if you can't be there in person, via our live stream, MUFONsymposium.com/live-stream. Hope to see you there in person or virtually.
And there it is, folks, and that will be live streamed here, so we'll go through it, and we'll see if it's good, if it's bad, or if it's bullshit. So yeah, I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to de-sweat, because I'm sweating my backside off here. Toilet breaking a thing. Has anyone seen Great and Cousin Bro documentary? Any revelations? Yeah, it's not very good. I paid for that. I filed MUFON report for an orb, went over my house 4 days, smashed into a fighter jet. Wow. They're lying about Dr. Gray. I can't wait till everyone finds out the truth. Guys, please give the stream a like. Oh, thanks, Mentage. Yeah, please like the stream. That would be appreciated. And please, if you're going to sleep tonight, just put it on play and let it play in the background. That would help as well. Let it send you to sleep. Has anyone seen Age of Disclosure? It's not out yet. There's something going on with that. I think it's because what's he called? Marco Rubio's in government. I think it's something to do with him because he's in the documentary. Mars, yes please. I'm guessing that's because you want to come in live again. Barb was a helicopter pilot with the Air Force, yeah. And he cried. He got emotional because the egg UFO touched him like nobody else. Gray could have ties to Mossad. Yeah, he has. He has. I could do a video on that actually. I'll tell you what, I'll do a live on that sometime. Gray's connection to Mossad. He's mad about the podcast about his past, yes. He's only recently come off TikTok though, and that Mossad thing was a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. Like the stream itself and comment, yes. Thanks for pushing this topic, man. No problem. Comment this video to help the growth and get it out there. Yes, when the video goes up, please comment on it that you've watched it and you enjoyed it and stuff like that. That would really help as well. Like I said, helping me out helps you out because I know a lot of these are content creators as well, and I do exactly what I do on YouTube, TikTok. You'll be coming up. We'll be having guests. I want guests. I want co-hosts. I want to be able to co-host like a monthly show with people and go through the latest UFO stuff. That'd be great. That. Did Spielberg and Epstein? But my friends, none of these people, none of the contacts in the desert people. I'm not asked about them. My friends. I want my friends to be doing it. That was only the second time in history the FFA grounded all flights. I wouldn't. Gray was going after podcasters. Gray was going after. We're in contact with Gray, you know. We're in contact with Gray. He's the reason I went mad the other day because he was telling us to not release something that we have in our possession. The only reason I've not is because I made a promise to Shiv that I wouldn't. But it did get released by Dan. Not my fault. It is okay if Gray is LGTB. It is almost the only way the super psychic anyway. Great tonight. Looking forward to more. Yeah, I want to do more lives like this. You know, some of the taboo subjects and stuff like that. Things that people don't want to either research or are too scared to research. YouTube is where to grow, brother. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I know. I made a move with the Orange Orbs 2023. Make sure to give Mented a follow, by the way, as well. He's a good guy. He's also on TikTok. He goes on about anything. No holes barred with him. Just be careful. He's pretty ripped for 70. Yeah, and every time I watch his documentaries, I'm pretty ripped off. I love Gray. Hate Gray. Danny's truth. He's passionate. Jason. He's pretty ripped for 70. Yeah. Well, he needs to get some part of his body right because his face looks like he's been. He looks like a reptilian, doesn't he? Let's face it. Was that where he let slip about the disclosure? Right, folks, I'm going to end the live because I want to see what I did wrong and make sure it's not affected the live being shared and stuff like that. But when it's up, please give it a like and please comment on it. That would be great. I can't tag you like I can on TikTok. So just double back in about half an hour to see if it's up yet. That would be great. Click on the live section. That's where this video will be. Oh my god, yeah, the face. Right, guys, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Good night, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one, which might